Lesson 3-8, Decimal Divisors. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to divide decimals by decimals. To divide by a decimal, first, move the decimal point in the divisor to form a whole number divisor. Then move the decimal point in the dividend to the right the same number of places. Second, place the decimal point in the quotient and then divide. And third, check by multiplying. Now let's take a look at the problem. Mrs. Martinez is shingling the roof in her house. Each shingle is 2/10 of a meter wide. If the roof is 8 46 meters wide, how many shingles can she put in each row? So to find the number of shingles which would be in, we would divide 8.46 divided by 0.2, which would give us in. We can first estimate this using front-end estimation. So we would have 8, because we're going to use, remember, just that first non-zero number in each number. So we have 8 divided by 0.2, which would give us 40. Here's how it would look when we set up the division problem. Now, if you look here, this is where our decimal is. We can't divide with that decimal out there, so just like the directions say, we need to move this decimal over so we have a whole number. We only need to move it over one place. So I'm going to move that over, cross it out here, and now it's here. Now I have a 2. Now I moved it over one place here, so here I need to also move it over one place. So it would be right here. So here I can rewrite that to make it neater. I would have 2 goes into 84.6. Now I've already moved my decimal over. Now my next step is to move the decimal straight up. And then I divide just like I would if these were two whole numbers. So now I have 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 times 4 is 8, and I subtract. Bring down the 4. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. I subtract, and I bring down the 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and that would be 6. And then I subtract, and I have 0. So my answer would be 42.3. And my estimate was 40, which is very close to 42.3. Now our next step will be to multiply to check our answer. So when I multiply, I'm going to take my answer, 42.3, and multiply that by 2, and I get 8, and then I have one number here behind the decimal, so I put it here, and I get 84.6. So right here I have 84.6, and here's 84.6, so my answer checks out. Here's another example. I have 2.4 going into 1.272. I took a look here at my decimal, and I need to move this 1 over to the right, because the divisor must always be a whole number. So I moved this 1 to the right, so now I need to move this to the right one space. My next step now is to move the decimal straight up for the quotient. It goes right here. So now I have 24 going into 12.72. So it won't go into the 12. So we'll start here above the 7. It goes in there 5 times. That's 120. Subtract. I have 7. Bring down the 2. 24 goes into 72 3 times evenly. So that would be minus 72. And I have 0. Now to check that, I'll multiply the quotient 0.53 times 24, and that would be 12, 21, 2, 0, 6. Let me cross these off. 2 times 5 is 10. 1, 2, 7, 2, 1. I have two numbers behind the quotient, 12.72, and right here is 12.72. Let's take a look at one last example. Here I have 3 places after my zero, or after my decimal. 1, 2, 3. So I need to move this 3 places. 1, 2, 3. It's going to go right here. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that so it looks a little neater. So now I have 27, because remember, the divisor must always be a whole number. 27 goes into 162. Now, that goes in there 6 whole times. 6 times 27 equals 162. I subtract and have 0 is my remainder. Go ahead and rewatch any part of the lesson that you need to, and have a great day with math.